is Nucor Chairman and CEO Leon Topalian. Leon, it's great to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Morgan.
And that's exactly where I want to start. Why are blanket tariffs across the board on all U.S. imports necessary right now?
You know, if you go back and you look at the backdrop of the steel industry over the last 20 years, we've been in a trade war with China and other nations for a very long time. President Trump understands that, understands the importance of steel making in critical sectors like defense, national security, aerospace, and others. And so the glut of illegally dumped, subsidized steels, currency manipulated programs to find the shores of the U.S. has been a blight on our industry, and it's cost tens of thousands of jobs, companies closing. And again, steelmakers like Nucor have continued to profit, but at the same time, we've invested heavily to continue to position ourselves for the future. But again, it's not a free trade, it's a fair trade and creating a level playing field, and I believe these tariffs are going to do that.
So when we talk about closing some of these loopholes on things like transshipments and as you just mentioned, the dumping of steel by other countries that maybe make their way indirectly into this country, for example, I've heard conversations about, how much steel is coming from places like China through Canada to then make its way here to the U.S. If you start to close those loopholes, what does that do to stoke domestic production? How quickly does that come online? And also, perhaps just as importantly, what does it do to domestic pricing?
You know, as an EAF producer, Morgan, which Nucor is exclusively, we have the ability to ramp up and down very, very quickly, like within minutes. So at the backdrop of the U.S. steel industry, we consume about 100 million tons. 25% of that today is coming in through imports, and that number should be closer to 10%. Of that 25% imports, about 38% of that comes in through Canada and Mexico. And again, it is just what you're saying, circumvention coming into our northern and southern borders where, again, we've got to stop that. We've got to create a level playing field where we can have the healthy steel industry continue to be vibrant, continue to reinvest in our domestic mills, continue to build facilities like we are in West Virginia, Lexington, North Carolina, Kingman, Arizona, and reinvest across this nation.
You're already spending a lot on CapEx this year, next year. You just mentioned West Virginia. Does this change that math? Do you now make greater investments in anticipation of greater demand for your products?
You know, over the last 5 years, we're on about a $16 billion capital campaign that will culminate in next year, at the end of next year, with the startup of West Virginia. However, again, there's optimism. There's optimism with our customers and our customers' customers. So Nucor has the highest credit rating. We have cash on hand. We're in a very, very healthy position to be able to continue to grow both through M&A as well as organic. So, yeah, you can continue to expect that Nucor is going to invest in our future.
Investors seem to think that tariffs and all the trade policy that is coming out with President Trump is really negotiating tactics. And I wonder what you think. What do you think the end point is with tariffs like this and policy like this? I mean, does it become an opening salvo to renegotiate USMCA? And if so, how powerful could a renegotiation or amendment of that trade agreement be?
Yeah, look, I think it's a fantastic question, and I do think there's a part of that. In his first term in office, we saw him implement the tariffs that turned into the USMCA and some tariff-free quotas. Well, over the years, those have been abused now. We see, for example, in rebar, a 1,200% increase of rebar volumes coming in from Mexico, slabs imported from Canada, a 4,000% increase in them bringing slabs into the country. So it's got to change. We've got to create a level playing field. And again, I think a healthy trade relationship with both Canada and Mexico, but further beyond that with Korea, Argentina, Brazil, and the EU.